What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is John. Today I have for you a big box good. That's right, today we're going to be taking a look at a pair of house slippers for men I picked up at Dillard's for $80. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing and first impressions of the men's UGG Scuff slipper in espresso. This slipper comes in probably 10 different colors on UGG's website. At Dillard's, it comes in 3 different colors. Here in front of us, we have the espresso, but it also comes in a light brown and also a dark gray. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this unboxing and first impressions. As always with these videos, at the end, I try the shoe on. So fast forward to the end if you want a first impressions as to not only how well this fits, but also how comfortable it is. But of course, stick around throughout the beginning of the video because we will be talking about the features. We will be talking about what I like about this slipper, what I dislike about it, where and when to best make use of this slipper, and of course, the many interesting features it provides. Now, even though house slippers are much less expensive than $80, these UGG men's Scuff slippers are unique. And we will get into that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this unboxing and first impressions. So here in front of us is the UGG men's Scuff in espresso. Like I said, at Dillard's, this comes in about 3 different colors, a light brown and a dark gray, and also in espresso. We will take a look at the color here in just a moment. And of course, I'll talk about what I like about the colorway and what I dislike about it. But you can also go on UGG's website and choose from probably 7 more additional colors. There are some really beautiful looking colors like a cherry red, it's like a burgundy, and even an all black colorway if you want an all black slipper. You can also get the UGG slipper with really big, bold branding on the front of it. Those are also available at Dillard's, but in order to make the best of this review, I figured I would review the more conservative pair. So first thing is first, looking at the side of the box, you can see the model. It is the men's Scuff. You can also see that it is the espresso. It is designated ESP. And of course you get the sizing. This is a size 12. When it comes to UGG slippers or any UGG product, these are only available in whole sizes. So no half sizes and only in one width. So no narrow or wide shoe. You get what you get and you don't have a fit. Let's go ahead and see how that works out for us, because as you might remember from past shoe review videos, I do tend towards a wider shoe. I have a wider foot. Let's go ahead and see how well these fit. Now, I usually don't show the unboxing aspect like I used to, but I figured I would take the time to actually present it because it is extremely well organized. As you can see on the top of the packaging here, you get a card with the UGG branding on it. It probably goes over some warranty information and also probably just a couple of facts on how to care for these shoes. But as you can see, immaculately maintained in the box. Plenty of packaging to protect them because the material is somewhat precious in a way. But as you can see, a bunch of things here, a bunch of shoe horns and papers to pretty much protect. This is a suede lining. This is wool on the inside and actually sheepskin lining around the edges of the slipper. But as you can see, it definitely looks like an A-grade product, and it was well packaged. I think you can see just how nice of a slipper this is. So in the box, of course, we get the user manual and this beautiful colored espresso slipper. Let's talk about some of the finer details here before getting into just what I like and dislike about this shoe. The lining of this slipper is actually UGG plush, which you can see from the tag on the inside of the shoe. But what's just a tad bit confusing is you'll notice here it actually talks about some of the different technologies used in the different types of UGG products. So in this slipper, you get an UGG plush lining, which is actually a mixture of 80% wool and 20% lyocell. So even though this is a really beautiful and soft wool lining, it's not entirely wool, and it does feel just a little bit coarse compared to pure wool, which UGG does sell. So they have an UGG Pure, which is 100% reused wool. You get UGG Plush, which we have in front of us here, which is the 80% wool, 20% lyocell. It definitely feels a little bit rougher, a little bit coarser than the UGG Pure, but still comfortable nonetheless. But last but not least, we get an UGG Energy, which is probably some kind of sport line of UGG shoe or UGG clog. And one other thing I want to quickly point out before we get into the first impressions is the water ratings you can see on the inside of the user manual here. As you can tell, you can either get an UGG shoe with light water resistance or heavy water resistance, a dry tech, and even snow resistance. These shoes are extremely warm and comfortable, but not necessarily meant for rugged conditions like snow or water or sleet, especially these shoes. And how we know these are meant for indoor use only is because by checking on the tags on the inside, they do not say anything about taking these outdoors or being water resistant. So just keep that in mind, that even though the user manual in the box says that some UGG products may be water resistant or snow resistant, that doesn't necessarily apply to this slipper. Now, even though this is 80% wool and 20% lyocell, even though it isn't as comfortable or as plush or as soft as the pure wool, it still retains the softness of the wool, but also feels durable and actually like it can be maintained. Like you could probably scrub this with some soap and water and clean out dirt and grime. Now, even though I wasn't able to find cleaning tips or ideas on UGG's website, what they do recommend is, of course, wearing this indoors. This is not an outdoor shoe. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the user manual on the inside actually talks about water resistance and also the lining and the makeup of this shoe and how it can actually be confusing. But one thing I also want to mention is, like I said, it will come with tags on the inside of the shoe to let you know just exactly what the capabilities of it are. And this one in particular is not meant for outdoors. So on UGG's website, even though it doesn't go over how to clean the shoe, they do recommend wearing it without a sock. Don't take this shoe outside. It is meant for indoor use only. But even though it is 80% wool, 20% lyocell, I still think you could easily clean this and keep it well maintained. So like I was saying at the beginning of the video, the user manual actually talks about the different types of materials that UGG products used. It's really just a generalized user manual, which is why when you get the shoe, you should refer to the tags on the inside of the shoe. So as you can see on the inside of the slipper, this is an UGG plush lining, and you would simply just go to the user manual and match up what you see inside of the slipper with what you see inside the user manual. But again, I think what adds to the confusement, or what makes this unboxing and first impressions sort of confusing, is actually on UGG's website. If you go to features and benefits, well, first you actually have to go to the Scuff shoe, but down in features and benefits, you can see it has a sheepskin lining, which is a bit confusing because if you actually scroll down even further, you can see that it has a wool lining, which would make sense because the inside or the footbed of the shoe is wool. And of course, the top of the shoe, or what's going to be making contact with the top of your foot, is also wool. And also the sidewall of the shoe is wool. It's entirely wool and lyocell, like I said, 80-20 mixture, but extremely comfortable. But like I said, just a little bit confusing that it's a sheepskin insole with a wool lining, but also sheepskin lining and also a wool lining. So like I said, just a little bit confusing here on UGG's part. I wish they could have made this just a little bit more clear. Perhaps it's sheepskin underneath the wall. Sheepskin would probably be more like a leather type material, binding the shoe to get together, giving it its structure. The only part of this shoe I could imagine being sheepskin is probably the entry point here. If you actually look on this website here and look at the specifications, the top of the shoe is actually suede, and I would say this outer banding around the edge of the slipper is actually some kind of polyester probably, or nylon. Yeah, probably some kind of fabric cotton mixture. It is not sheepskin, so just a little bit confusing here. But one thing UGG does make clear is when and where to use this slipper, and they do recommend wearing it without a sock, which I also recommend wearing it without a sock. It is moisture wicking, and like I said, because this is an 80% wool and 20% lyocell mixture, it should be breathable, moisture wicking, and easy to maintain. It should also be durable as well. But they do make it clear that this is for indoor use only, even though the user manual actually talks about waterproofing here. As you can see, like I said, this is just a generalized user manual. It goes over pretty much all the technologies UGG uses in all of their products. It doesn't necessarily specifically describe what is being used in this shoe and how to take care of it. All it goes over, like I said, is just generalized information. So don't think that this shoe is water resistant in any way, because it's not. And UGG does make that clear on their website. So like I said at the beginning of the video, what catches my attention about this beautiful espresso colorway is the time of year. It's October going into November and December, chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Christmas trees with the lights on. It's snowing outside, it's cold. You're sitting on the couch with a cup of hot chocolate or a cup of coffee in your hand. But if you want something for the rest of the year, or maybe something just a little bit more lighthearted, like I said, you can choose from about 10 different colors on UGG's website. Even though I got these at Dillard's, let's actually take a look at some of these colors here. So if you want something with just a little more pizzazz, you can go for a terracotta, or something a little bit more lighthearted like an amber, and of course the standard typical sort of notorious colorway chestnut, which all UGG shoes come in. Of course you can get something like a dark gray, and of course what's actually most interesting here is a burnt olive color. But like I said earlier, at Dillard's you can actually get the UGG Men's Scuff logo suede slipper, which is exactly the same as this slipper, except like I said, instead of having the UGG logo at the side of the shoe in small print, it's actually across the entire upper half of the shoe in large print. So as you can see, what differs from this UGG logo slipper is the piping running down the center of the shoe. So on the logo slipper, you don't get that piping. So if this is something that maybe looks a little bit less attractive, then check this slipper out. But if you want something that's just a little bit louder and a little bit bolder and actually kind of cool and swanky and interesting, definitely check out the UGG logo suede slipper. Or, of course, if you want something a little bit more conservative, go for the solid color. But I figured while we're sitting here on the computer talking about the features and looking at the website, I would pretty much show you the different colors and give you a better idea as to what this shoe looks like compared to the logo suede slipper. And last but not least is the sole of the shoe. I think you can make out that even though it is just a little bit abstract and maybe a little bit hard to tell or read, it does say UGG at the sole of the shoe in no particular pattern or order. It's just UGG. But one thing I want to point out is the material here. Now, even though you'll see it's pretty flat, it actually does have some texture to it and does offer some form of grip. It actually feels like this might be suede, nubuck, or maybe even the sheepskin that they were referring to earlier. And it's actually sort of raised, and actually the UGG branding is actually sort of embossed or maybe stamped down on top. And actually it's sort of a dark suede lining on the inside with this light brown coarse texture on top, giving you traction. Even though this does provide pretty decent traction, again, no grooves or ridges or any moisture wicking features here. Like I said, indoor use only for around the house. UGG recommends keeping these inside, not for outdoor use. So as usual, at the end of the video, I try the shoe on and tell you what I think about it and tell you how it feels and how comfortable it is. Now, a couple of years ago, I owned a pair of UGG slippers, and from what I remember, they were 100% wool. It was pure wool on the inside, not plush, which is 80% wool, 20% lyocell. So let's go ahead and slip these on. A little bit different of an experience for the first time because they are so comfortable. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, my main concern was that they come in whole sizes and not in half sizes and not in a wide diameter, just a standard width. So even though I tend towards a wider shoe, these are actually extremely comfortable. I don't feel any pressure on the inside of the shoe at the side of the foot. And that is in large part, I think, thanks to the design, which is just a little bit bigger and more robust. And just to go over briefly what the shoe looks like on my foot and how it performs around the house. As you can see, that espresso colorway is beautiful, but most importantly, even though this shoe is not really all that supportive, it's really just for sliding on and off and being comfortable and keeping your feet warm in. What is really nice is the sort of suede rubber bottom actually grips the floor extraordinarily well. So even though not a whole lot of support, definitely a whole lot of traction. Anyways, guys, that has been an unboxing and first impressions of the UGG men's Scuff slipper I picked up at Dillard's for $80. Because I picked this up at Dillard's, that makes it a big box good. Today we talked about what I like about this slipper, what I dislike about it. Mainly what I dislike about it, of course, is the 80% wool, 20% lyocell. It's still extremely comfortable, it's durable and soft, but it's not the 100% wool I was expecting, which will cost you just a little bit more to upgrade to. What I also dislike about this shoe is how confusing the user manual is, and even the website at that. It could be easy to mistake this shoe for being water resistant when in fact it is not, or also having multiple features that it does not have. So just be cognizant that the user manual this shoe comes with is a generalized user manual. But what I love about this shoe, of course, is the build quality, the styling, the 80% wool, 20% lyocell. Even though it's not as soft as the pure 100% reusable wool UGG incorporates in their more expensive products, it is still a fantastic material. It's comfortable, it's durable, it's moisture wicking. UGG recommends wearing this without a sock, and I would recommend doing so as well. It does come in whole sizes. This is a size 12, which I do recommend going up a size in just to make it more comfortable and give you a little bit more room. Of course, we talked about the sole of the shoe. As you can see, it's meant for indoor use only. It's a pretty flat sole. It doesn't offer any support. Like I said, walking around the house is fine, but going on a hike, obviously, these will not work. And most importantly, we talked about the different colorways this comes in. You can get things a little bit more suave or a little bit more bold, or keep things conservative with something like an espresso or a burnt olive green or just a black or the traditional chestnut. With that being said, I'm going to go and close out this unboxing and first impressions. I really hope you enjoyed this video. My name is John. Hit that like button, subscribe, share this video with friends and family, and also hit that bell icon to get notified when I post to YouTube. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is John. I will see you in the next video.